Hi, is anxiety or panic attacks something that you suffer from, or one of your kids, or someone you know? The reason I'm asking is because the other day I was going to volunteer at my son's school and I overheard a conversation between two staff members. And one of them was telling the other woman how she was managing her panic attacks. What I have to tell you is that you shouldn't need to manage a panic attack. It is not something that happens to you. It is not something that's wrong with you. It is a physiological imbalance, and the physiological balance needs to be fixed so that the panic attacks don't need to happen anymore. I I have to say I am beyond frustrated with the normalization of mental illness, physical problems. What happens when we do that is it results in not ever solving a problem because all we do is try and manage it. We don't realize that it's actually not something that's normal. It's not something that just happens to people. It's there because of a real reason, and the real reason needs to be addressed. And maybe I seem like I'm coming off a little strong, and I do feel really strongly about this. I had when my son was in fifth grade, there was a girl in his class who would have panic attacks, and the children were asked to help her deal with them. What frustrated me was that had her parents known that these panic attacks were probably caused by the way she was eating, what she was eating, when she was eating, and maybe some other things, they could have resolved this problem. And I do know that these panic attacks continued on in middle school. So what I want to tell you is that panic attacks, if you Google them, if you look them up in Wikipedia, panic attack and hypoglycemia, you will see that the symptoms are almost identical. Now, if that were the case, then maybe you could manage it by eating more often so that you don't get hypoglycemic. The GABA, which is a neurotransmitter, and gabapentin is a common drug used to calm anxiety because it binds to GABA receptors. GABA, the neurotransmitter, is made from sugar. So if you are short on sugar in your bloodstream, you can't make enough. And so this can cause a panic attack. I will also say that unresolved emotions and traumas can also be a precipitator for panic attacks and for anxiety. So if you can resolve those two things, which I know how to do, I do it all the time at my office. There are certain nutrients you may be deficient in if there's anxiety. You don't need to suffer. And I think that if you have a problem or if you know someone with a problem, you need to let them know this, and you need to find a medical practitioner who knows how to fix these things. Because I hear, even on Instagram, there was someone I follow who says he has a huge following, hundreds of thousands of people. And he's saying, don't think I'm perfect. I have to manage panic attacks because I have a problem. And unfortunately, he did not respond to my message to him, telling him that this was not something that needed to be a problem ongoing. It could be resolved. But when celebrities or when people who are very big influencers say things like this, that, oh, don't worry, I have to manage my panic attacks too. It's a problem. The problem is that people don't know that they don't need to have them. And so I will calm down now. If you have something going on, I will just give you a few suggestions to start with. And maybe you need more help than this. But if it's purely a blood sugar thing, you need to make sure you eat every 4 hours, starting within the first 30 minutes of waking up while you're awake. Just that can change the way you feel. And not to mention, managing your blood sugar can change a lot of other ways that you feel too. So if you liked this video, if you learned something from this video, please share it with someone who it might help so we can spread the word that medical issues don't need to be a mystery. Most of them can be solved, and it's not that difficult. You just need to know where to look, and you need to know who to ask. I'll see you next time. And one more thing, please subscribe to this video if you liked it so you can get regular updates from me.